Hey, what's going on, party people? Greg Jenkins here from House Monkey Pod, and I had a moment recently where a Keap user asked me a question, and it highlighted something that I had overlooked in an automation that I set up, where I sort of took the lazy route, and the fix is really simple, and it immediately creates a better customer experience. So shout out to Sue for replying to one of my emails and giving me this idea, but I want to share it with you because I feel like this is something small that a lot of people will be able to use to level up the way we are communicating with our audience. So here is the context. Let me give you the backstory, and then I'll show you the actual technical part of this as well. So as you guys probably know, my courses are now free thanks to a partnership with Keap. So I have built opt-in forms that allow people to claim access to my different courses. And the one that Sue was looking for is the Campaign Builder Trilogy. And so if you sign up, it triggers automation that unlocks the course for you and then sends you an email and says, here's the course access you just requested. But in a couple weeks here, I am also hosting a workshop with Keap Academy for Keap users. And that workshop experience is built around this same course. But if people don't want to join the workshop live, if the dates don't work or that type of environment feels stressful or overwhelming, we are giving people the option of participating in the workshop in a self-paced, on-demand environment. And basically what that does is it gives them access to the same course. So what I did was I added an entry point to my existing campaign so that if people register for the Keap Academy workshop and they choose the self-paced option, well, we have like a Zap set up to drop them into the existing, built onboarding experience that I have that unlocks the course and sends them access. But the thing I overlooked, the lazy route that Greg Jenkins took, is I didn't modify that initial email. So if you sign up for the course directly, it says, hey, you just requested access to the course. Here you go, which makes sense, right? The expectation was set and then the email comes and they know and are expecting it. But if you register for this workshop and then you choose the self-paced option, it says, thanks for requesting access to this course. And so there can be a bit of a disconnect because they were expecting a workshop, not necessarily a course, and they signed up through Keap Academy, not directly with MonkeyPod. And so when the course access comes from MonkeyPod, it can be confusing. And so that's when Sue reached out to me and said, hey, is this legit? Because it was different than the experience that Sue was expecting. Sue had signed up with Keap Academy and so was expecting communication from Keap Academy. So when that email came through from MonkeyPod, it just felt a little fishy. And I think Sue was just double checking, is this that thing that I was getting? But what it highlighted for me was that I can streamline that onboarding experience using dynamic content. If you are not yet familiar with dynamic content, it basically allows you to send the same email to a bunch of people, but have different sections of the content hidden or revealed. So I realized this meant I could personalize that initial onboarding email so that the people who requested workshop access, it mentions the workshop, but the people who signed up for the course directly, it doesn't. It's just simply unlocks that course for them. So let me show you how this all works. Okay, so when you are in the software, under marketing, you'll have a little section here called dynamic content, which opens up the dynamic content editor. And I should call out that I'm in a Max Classic account, which was formerly Infusionsoft. And so that's the interface that has this built in. The dynamic content code is supported in Keap Pro and Keap Max as well. But this dynamic content editor, for whatever reason, isn't in the interface. At least it's not on the menu. But you can access it. So you guys may not know about this spreadsheet, but another friend of mine and Keap certified partner, Mr. Mark Penny, has sort of been assembling these links, right? And basically what these do is they allow you to access areas of the software that aren't in the Pro and Max interface, but are supported or exist rather. So like this dynamic content builder, if you swap out the app name here in the URL, it takes you, like if you plug in a Keap Pro app name here or a Keap Max app name here, it actually does load this interface. So you can access it, you can use it. It just requires a little bit of a workaround here. So that's what this spreadsheet is. It's a whole handful of pages that aren't in Pro and Max, but you can still access when you need that functionality. But I digress. Here's the point, right? So in this email, right, in the CB Trilogy content delivery email, we want to personalize that first sentence. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a statement here that says, hey, when the contact's tag ID, and I can use the conditionals here. If you haven't used dynamic content, I've got a different set of blog posts that sort of train you on the functionality. But conditionals mean it's like if this, then this, right? So conditional statements or conditional logic. So use conditionals if the tag IDs contain, and then I need to get the tag ID. So this is the one tag ID that indicates that they came from the Keap Academy channel, right? That they registered for the workshop before claiming this course. So we'll say if the tag IDs contain 2773, and then you could continue the statement, or if it contains this tag ID, or if it contains this tag ID. But in my case, I just need it to be, if they have the tag, show them this. If they don't have the tag, show them this other thing. So it builds it out like this, right? That's the statement. And then these are just placeholders for the copy. This, of course, is what they would see when they do have the tag. And then it says, otherwise, show them this. So over here, I have written two different sentences. Thanks for joining the self-paced option of the Campaign Builder Workshop, or thanks for unlocking the CB Trilogy course. So we would copy this code and then jump into the campaign. So if somebody requests the course directly, they're going to achieve this goal and they'll go into here, right? Or if they happen to have a Keap Academy lead source, they'll go through here. But if somebody claims it through the workshop, they're going to achieve this goal where it will, set a handful of values, add them to a reporting spreadsheet for us, and then ultimately they'll wind up in here as well. So this is where that welcome email lives. You can see you have access here. So if we open this email, this is the email that's currently being sent. But we want to personalize this by adding that dynamic content. So you could add this at any point, but let's just pop it in here. So this is a big day, and then it'll merge in their name, a big day, and then it'll say, thanks for joining the self-paced option of the Campaign Builder Workshop, or it will say, thanks for unlocking the CB Trilogy course. So based on which channel they came through, it'll show them one or the other, and then the rest of the email just continues on. Like, I know it's just a course and a bunch of videos with my face. So like if we preview this, it's only going to show us one of these, right? So if I click preview, yeah, it just says thanks for unlocking the CB Trilogy course, because the test record that we're previewing it with, or the user in this case, doesn't have this tag, so it defaults to showing this. But if this email goes out to somebody who does have this tag, then they would see this sentence instead. So that's sort of the way that this dynamic content works. And then we could, add it down here as well. So we would say, thanks, if you enjoy this content, maybe consider joining the live workshop next time, right? Something like that, that references the workshop. And then we would say down here, remember, you can always use the Keap user group to share your light bulb moments, right? So just something kind of generic that doesn't reference the workshop. So again, I've got this in one place, or in two places rather, in this email, but you can use this dynamic content throughout your communication so that people who are experiencing the same automation have slightly different experiences based on what we know about them. All right, so there you have it. A relatively simple little snippet of liquid content or dynamic content allows me to personalize the first section of the email, or really any paragraph of that email. I can customize it to make sure that, the people who registered for the workshop know they're in the right place. And the people who signed up for the course access directly, they know they're in the right place. And in this way, it gives everyone the right level of context. It fulfills on the expectation that was set, and it just generally smooths out that customer experience. And I think the reason that this is so powerful is because there are opportunities like this in all of our campaigns, in all of our automations. Anytime we're talking to customers, we can use the information we know about them to hide or reveal the things that are relevant, the things that, may not be a fit for them. You can, make sure that you are suppressing a call to action that isn't a fit because maybe they've already done it, or, it's just a really powerful way to make our messages that much more personal, that much more targeted, and therefore have the call to actions feel just that much more compelling because we know that they're not seeing things that aren't a fit for them. So if you have yet to explore dynamic content, let this be the catalyst for you to take it seriously, to look into it. It's a powerful tool, and Keap has quietly rolled it out. The builder, the one that allows you to generate the dynamic code content, is available in Max Classic, but as you probably saw, you can it's supported in Pro and Max, and Keap Pro and Max, but you have to sort of use the workaround to get that code generated. I've got a couple blog posts on this resource, but you could also go to liquidmastery.com, where a friend of mine, Keap certified partner Jason Osterly, he has a book, he has a bunch of resources, he has a support community dedicated to using this. So if you see the value, the merit in it, and you just want to learn more about it, that is definitely something you should have on your radar. Thanks for watching this. If you have questions, drop them below. If you have comments, feel free to drop those below. If you know anyone that this can serve, feel free to share it with them. And thanks again for spending time with this video and for supporting MonkeyPod. Take care.